We'll need to order, and we'll do that with the resolution. Oh, first I'll do the thing. This, recognize the territory in which we are operating. This territory is the customary and traditional land of the Moosonee people since time immemorial. We acknowledge the sacred land on which the town of Moosonee operates, which in the lands protected by the James Bay Treaty number 9. We're grateful to have the opportunity to make decisions at this table that will impact our community acreage. With that, I will skip Bob, you everybody know that you should Bob.
For transparency, I'd like to remind all participants and attendees that this meeting is being recorded in accordance with the municipality procedures. In the event of emergency, please exit this room quietly and use the meeting.
25 to 16. You resolve that the meeting come to order at 6:02 p.m. Present, Mayor Dykula, Councillor Ryder, Councillor Tozer, Councillor Hunter, and Councillor Nakuji is not here. I won't mark him absent. He might just be running late, but if he does show, I'll mark him as absent at that time. So with this, could I have a mover, please? Susan moves it. Here. Diane Ryder seconds it. Moved by Susan Hunter, second by Diane Ryder. Any discussion, open the meeting? If not, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Meeting is officially open. Thank you and welcome everyone. You all have the agenda in front of us, and we will go into the motion to read the
Resolution 2025, number 2025-217, be it resolved that the agenda be accepted as presented / amended.
Could I have a mover for this resolution, please? Carmen, seconder. Susan, moved by Carmen Tozer, seconded by Susan Hunter. Are there any deletions or changes to the agenda? Don't see any, so we'll accept it as presented. No further concerns, questions? All in favor? Opposed, carried, and carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Are there any pecuniary interest disclosed at this time? Don't see any. All right, at any time during the meeting, if you have a pecuniary interest you want to disclose, please feel free to do so. We'll go on to the fourth option on the minutes. The 21st and October 31st. Special meeting, regular meeting, and then special meeting October 31st.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-218, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the regular meeting number 23-2025 of October 21st, 2025, and number 24, 2025, special meeting of October 31st, 2025, as presented / amended.
We have a mover for this resolution, please. Diane moves it, seconder. Carmen Tozer seconds it. Moved by Diane Ryder, seconded by Carmen Tozer. Are there any changes? You all had a copy of the minutes in your package. Are there any changes? If not, you'll accept them as presented. Any further discussion? Not all in favor. Opposed, carried. This motion has been carried. All right, presentations, delegations. We have the people for the community indoor farm project. All in it from Jim and partners. Is that correct? So what we do at the delegation has to keep it in within 15 minutes if you can. And then we will, if we have any questions, we will ask you the questions after that. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes. All right, so we will turn the floor over to you. Thank you for not coming to me. So,
Yes. Thank you for allowing us to be present here with you this afternoon and provide you with our presentation for the town of Moosonee and exactly kind of what our goals are to help your community in respect to the access of fresh food on an annual or a daily basis throughout the entire year. So I do apologize. I just came out of having a pretty bad cold, so my my voice is sometimes it fleets on me here. Let me just pull up my presentation so we can. Uh, can you see my screen?
No.
So this is our presentation to the town of Moosonee. Sorry. So we would like to help assist grow the future of Moosonee with the indoor vertical farming and help.
It didn't
It's-
share yet.
It hasn't shared yet, William.
It hasn't shared. Okay, how about now?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. I apologize, guys.
Did any of your partners also have the presentation? Perhaps they could try sharing?
Uh, sure. Uncle Rick, you got me. How about
Okay, that's happening now.
right? Okay, so I guess you can see the title slide with your town crest logo, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So slide 2 is growing the future of Moosonee with indoor vertical farming. As you guys know, you're receiving quite I guess a feature hospital coming up over the next few years. I guess that's in the plan and in the works. So in order to make sure that the community is healthy, we would like to complement that with an indoor vertical farm that we establish with our partners over at New Leaf Farms. Now, just to kind of highlight some of the impacts there with the community, the health in Moosonee, just doing a little bit of research. Currently, the obesity rates set in Moosonee is at 72.3% of the total population, and a lot of people are affected with type 2 diabetes or some sort of cardiovascular diseases, and osteoarthritis is quite rampant. What I've been able to pull off of the Porcupine health stats. Food insecurity is also kind of prevalent within the community. 13.5% of Moosonee residents report being food insecure. The Ontario rate throughout the province hovers around 8%. So Moosonee is slightly higher. And then based off of the percentage, it shows that around 473 people in Moosonee are living in insecure homes. And throughout the last 10 years, food prices for healthy foods have increased in Moosonee roughly 10%. So what is exactly healthy food? Healthy food is food that doesn't contain harmful biological or chemical contaminants. It needs to be accessible within geographical areas in relation to accessibility and affordability. Socially inclusive of all people. It doesn't matter what your income level is. You should be able to have access to healthy food. And then there's also the understanding and the knowledge aspect of understanding, what is healthy food, right? We need to be able to teach the future generations on what healthy food is. So there's recent studies that show healthy foods, unhealthy foods are linked to high blood pressure, elevated cholesterols, the triglycerides that contribute to heart disease, stroke, and other diseases. So this is just kind of common knowledge, but backed by a recent study that McMaster University has put out here in Canada. So making the transition, it makes it so then whole foods need to be more accessible through the affordability and being able to target health campaigns within communities. So our proposal for the town of Moosonee is our proposed farm that we would like to establish within your community to give your community members access to the fresh food. So what we've been able to come up with in our concept is a 40 by 56 floor print. Within there, you would have 12,960 plant ports. Within that system itself, it would produce for the community 3 full-time jobs. It would provide access to 365 days a year of freshly cultivated food. In turn, that would turn out to 25,000, well, just over 25,000 pounds of product a year. Because there's within Moosonee and Moose Factory, 5,000 people within the geographical area, it actually only equates to 5.2 pounds of fresh product per person on an annual basis, which is an easy farm and an easy farm that we can be able to establish within the community to start integrating healthy foods to the population base. So the area that we've been working with Boblin on identifying the site location is at the corner of Meacham and Mystic, which is ideal because the second location that we would like to set up to help the town would be at the school. And the reason being is because once we're able to put the accessibility within the reach of the children grow up eating healthy food. And then when you start to fast forward, 15, 20 years from now, that's when you can really start to hammer down the obesity rates, the type 2 diabetes, the hypertensions. There's just a magnitude of solutions that a vertical farm within the community can help mitigate. Receive. So a little change goes a long way with kids and being able to implement healthy food initiatives into the schools. So once you're able to do that, as this study reports, 78% of the participants were gardening at home, and 100% of the participants were cooking with the healthy foods at home. So the transition, once you're able to establish those within the schools, it manifests into the home as well, right? So and again, when you get the vertical farms into the schools, there's higher rates of graduation. It lowers mental health. There's just a series of reasons and rationale as to why the kids need to learn how to garden within the school system, because then you can start to integrate it once you've integrated it into the classrooms. My apologies. It teaches different learning habits. You can get into the science behind all the plants, the biology in the plants, the makeup of the system itself. So it doesn't need to always be there to feed the kids. You can use it for learning and academic purposes as well. So why should Harvest Today, Aonics Farms, and New Leaf be able to set up a farm within Moosonee? It's because we're a local Canadian companies. Plus the harvest wall here that we have, it was created to increase the plant density and the plant quality all within your area itself. So we'll be able to maximize the actual cubic volume of plants per square foot. The New Leaf system, the reason why New Leaf was chosen to be partnered with us is because they provide the complete environmental control package for the farm. So you control your VPD, your CFM, so your airflow, the lighting system, the nutrient dosing system. It provides remote sensors, so the farm would always be monitored and controlled. and then they do all the project management for it as well. So they would be actually the lead charge to be able to do all the site prep, to do the location and to assist the community in the actual operation of the farm and being able to get the product and the produce out to the people. And then we also provide quite the network. I don't know why the other things they aren't popping up, but we work with New Leaf Farms. We work with the University of Toronto Scarborough. So you have access to all those resources with all of our research with Dr. Jill Clapperton. Farm Credit Canada is also a good supporter of ours, so they would be able to come in and they provide part of the financing and the funding to set up the farm, and just help with the whole transition of being able to take the farm, grow the product, and then get it out to the people within the town of Moosonee itself. And then this is our last slide here to get growing. So this is actually a farm that we have set up in Abbotsford, and those are the heads of lettuce that you can pull off of our systems once it's in the controlled environment agriculture facility and set up growing for your community. That's our presentation.
Thank you. And with that, I will just open the floor to councillors. Councillor Ryder, any comments, questions?
Yeah, I guess my only one is I mean, I like the idea of that. I'm just not understanding, are you looking to come into our community as a business to run it as a business, but also, obviously, branch out into schools and bring that education element with it?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that's what you were talking about. That's all the questions I have.
Let me, I'll just, if I could take the opportunity to introduce myself, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rick Langell. I am the president and founder of Harvest Today. I'm joining you from Boulder, Colorado, which is part of one of our organization's offices. William runs our office up in Canada. I am originally from Stonewall, so yes, I am a Canadian. Just happened to be the only part of our family that's left Canada. We're super excited about being part of a joint venture, really, not only with you folks in Moosonee, but with also Aonix Farms and New Leaf, because the impact of vertical farming that I've been super blessed to be able to witness live for the last 5 years, it's global. So the impact that William brings up as it relates to there's much more than just health benefits to growing food locally, but when you start eating better food, you'll find your gut health is better, your mental brightness is better. There's just so many things that we could go on and on and on. And I'll just quickly tell you all, I never imagined for a second that I would be the poster child for our company. But 6 years ago, I had a valve explode in my heart. So I've lived it. I had a pacemaker put in. I wasn't doing well. And I will tell you, 10 days ago, my pacemaker was removed. So I've not only recovered, I'm actually at 67 years old, stronger than I've probably ever been. And we just want to be able to share that. And the circumstances that you folks live in, being in a remote community, it makes it impossible for you to get fresh food. You might have a bag of lettuce that actually shows up on any of the trains or the planes that might happen to land in Moosonee, but any of the nutrient value that was in that bag of produce to start with is gone. So the impact that we could have on your community is visceral, and we just invite you to be part of the community and or part of the journey. And I want to introduce right now, Paulinus Jim is our partner from Aonix Farms. He's from Toronto, but he's a little remote right now. So I appreciate seeing his smiley face, but he's also had surgery, so he's got some jaw problems. I hope you can talk. Can you talk okay, Paulinus?
I can speak better. Hello, everyone.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay, with that, I will, Supervisor Hunter, any questions?
Hi, good evening. I really like the idea. I agree there's a lot of benefits, especially to, it does make a difference in our kids, and I think when we're remote, teaching them and learning about it, I work in education, I have for a number of years, and I can see the benefits. My question had to do more with, how do they get the food? Like, how does that work? Like, you just go pick it up every Monday or, like, how does that
Yeah,
work?
so I can take this. So there's an option we're exploring right now. We were speaking in depth with Victoria and Tara and also with Boblin. But basically what we are gonna do is we're gonna set up like a food box type of thing, right? So every resident can go online and sign up, and then they kind of every single month, whenever it's harvest time, we can deliver it all right to the residents, right? And they can literally control everything online. They can pick whatever they want in the boxes. And so we're trying to stay away from selling to the grocery chains in Moosonee, just because we know how hurtful they can be with the prices, right? So that way, if we sell it directly to the residents, we can ensure, the prices stay at a very stable price, right? And yeah, every single month we're gonna be sure to deliver some food boxes to the residents.
On a weekly basis, right, Paulinus? We're
Yep.
thinking weekly,
It's gonna
right?
be weekly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because you said monthly. I wanted to
Yeah,
make sure
I
that
apologize,
Susan
yeah.
understood. Yeah, because the harvesting cycles will be roughly once a week. Depends on the crops, depends on kind of, we can grow a very substantial head of lettuce, or maybe some of the herbs that you might be interested in having. Like, we can certainly talk to you guys about the varieties that you want to grow, but you will see something come off the wall roughly in about 3 to 4 weeks. So you have 12,000 plants. So we'll come up with a really good, reasonable schedule, and teach everybody up there how to make this thing actually be it's a food machine. Like, it really will grow a substantial amount of food. So we're excited about how we can do it and how we can distribute it with freshness. And like Paulin has said, price is an issue. We want to make sure that this is affordable for you guys. It's going to have good value.
Thank you.
Okay, no, I like the idea. I like the thought of having fresh, vegetables for community members. I'm just trying to think of the business model that you're using them. So like, who would build the building? Who would pay for it? And then after that, it becomes self-perpetuating?
Yep. So New Leaf Farms is going to commission the building. They're going to be the project managers. They have a 40 by 56 flat pack system that they would ship up, and then we would assemble it and basically have it ready and commissioned within 2 to 3 weeks after we get it delivered. So we have the site location already located with correct me here, Jim. It's Boblin and Tara, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So we have the site location already there. The cash and everything is coming from Aonix Farms with some assistance from Farm Credit Canada. So we have a pretty substantial, well-recognized partner who's going to come in and assist with the financing here in Canada, which is why it would be considered a for-profit business adventure. Once we get the farm established, the next set would be to work with Farm Credit Canada to get the farm set up over at the school, because they do have funding availability for that. So we just established the presence and the farm footprint in the community before we expand and start teaching the kids how to grow sustainably, introduce it into their diet, so that they're taking a head of lettuce home with their, at the end of the day kind of thing, right? So.
Yep, and I would just say one more thing. We have three government agencies that are closely monitoring the projects that we do, from IRAP to Canada North. So this would be more or less a pilot project with them, and upon the success of this, we would basically take this and replicate it amongst other Indigenous communities from Manitoba to Northern Quebec.
So all you then need from the town is the location.
Basically, yes.
Yep, power, sewer, and location is what we're asking you guys for, right, Paulinus? That's right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and we also need to work with you guys to do the zoning. So the first is to zone it as multi-purpose, so that we can start establishing the groundwork. And then what we would like to do is put forward a zone bylaw zoning amendment to include agriculture, so then we can zone it as agriculture.
Yeah, just to comment on that, we don't have any agricultural zoning right now, obviously, because we don't farm currently here, so that it's not included in our official plan to have an agricultural area, so we would have to rezone based on that, and we have been having discussions with Patrick about that, and he doesn't see it being an issue. It obviously just has to move through the process.
Yep, totally. So that's why we're kind of going after the multi-use right now.
And the process, we would project you guys, once we actually get the go-ahead, it's probably going to be at least 3 to 4 months before you see something actually showing up in progress at the site. So that's when we could obviously get the zoning in whatever appropriate direction you guys need it to be through that process, if that fits kind of your process.
I think it's a good project. I have a couple of questions about that. The only you just covered it, I was wondering that question. Are there any byproducts from this that would have used in landfill or anything?
No, we can compost pretty much everything that comes out of there. Like in respect to growing, like the growing medium and the housing, and we can keep it all natural, right? And that's the beauty of the product is we use organic growing medium to inoculate our systems. I don't know if you can see it. This is kind of what a tile looks like. And we use organic grow medium to grow the plant in. So you're not dealing with rock wool or anything like that would accumulate at your landfill sites. So we can definitely tailor the system to meet the needs of the community to make it as environmentally friendly as possible for you.
And in fact, if there's areas where you want to compost things to maybe encourage some natural growth of some things, the off use or the product that's not used anymore at the farm could be used as regional composting. So you could actually, help the natural landscape a little bit with it. So I that's what I do with it. It's good. It's good compost. It's good to use.
Nitrogen, phosphorus, and
Yeah.
calcium. Yeah. So
Get all the good stuff in it. Yeah.
Now, another question that I have for you is, this looks like it's a permanent installation. Are you going to have staff here? And if you have staff here, are you guys looking at having your own residence, or how are you gonna, because it's hard to find a place up here, and if that's the case, and we do an agriculture, can we put a residential place in there?
Yeah, we were actually looking to hire within the community, right? We're thinking of 2 different programs. We're thinking of one with the students at the schools, and just another one would just be to hold hiring sessions, right? Try to find people that are willing to work in some niche, right? I think every single port would need 1.33 minutes, right, per port, William, right? So it would probably be more or less 150 hours a month. Right, so we're just gonna hire some locals.
But Wayne brought up a good idea, and that is if we made it just a little bigger. I heard you need some residential space. Did I hear that right, Wayne?
Yeah, well, again, residential space around here is limited, so that's what I was
Right.
wondering.
Yeah.
Businesses will bring in a worker, like say like Paulinus wanted to be here, you know what I mean, and run the farm, then like he would have a hard time finding a place to stay. So a lot of times we have accessory use residential buildings on other zoning properties to allow for that, so that people can have.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the status? Are you guys ever going to get a road? That's a $1 million question, right? Look at Wayne. That's funny. You gonna get a road?
Are we voting now?
It'll be a while.
Yeah. Winter roads are one thing, but being able to bring the camper up and actually staying there for a while. I want to drag my fishing boat up there. That's what I want to do. But yeah, that's an honest question. So I guess you guys, we could ask Kylie if there was other additional square footage that we could add to the building to have a quote unquote residential unit attached to it, but totally possible. Absolutely. There's no reason why we couldn't investigate that. No problem.
Just add an extra module.
Yep.
Question. Again, I've heard head of lettuce, but what other vegetable would it be producing?
We always talk about the crops, Wayne, being leafy greens. Okay, so leafy greens include crops, anything that's brassica. So anything would be a chard, kale, anything that would be broccolini. We absolutely grow tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. Leafy greens would be also any Mizuna type lettuces. So when you guys look at a head of lettuce, you probably think of romaine lettuce, right? Or iceberg lettuce, right?
Yeah.
We don't grow iceberg lettuce. It's the worst crop in the world. Don't eat it. Okay. It's terrible. But so any of those ones that I was just talking about, we have a customer that's doing radishes. Not, again, we want to be super sensitive about the diet, just like you're bringing it up. What do you want to eat? You guys have to tell us that. The other one is we've been doing a lot of work with a lot of herbs. So rosemary, basil. Basil grows like a weed. And we just got some pictures in from a really good growing partner that's in Israel today, and I'm blown away. The quality of the basil is just incredible. So any kind of cooking herbs that you guys use, and maybe even some of the indigenous type things that you guys are used to growing or you want to grow, absolutely. The Harvest Wall will absolutely grow it. Just don't ask me to grow any kind of corn because that won't grow corn. It's too big a plant. Or anything that's rooted, like really big, like onions, carrots, potatoes, anything like that. It will not grow. Okay. But we are working diligently at really perfecting a lot of really good vining crops. So tomatoes all day long, cucumbers all day long. And there's a bunch of really interesting peppers. So if you want to get some hot peppers or things like that, we absolutely can grow that as well.
Hollandis had mentioned perhaps strawberries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that would be popular.
Yeah, we had somebody from Malaysia called me yesterday, and they want to grow blueberries, and I'm like, no. Well, it's a bigger bush, right? Just think of what the brush the actual plant looks like, and it has to be in the wall too long. Strawberries, we were very successful in growing 2 different varieties of strawberries through a cycle that we did last year. So we were doing Albions and Seascapes. Got some pretty good production. But I think because the way this farm's going to be set up using the new leaf technology, we'll be able to actually do even better because of its ability to craft the nutrient solutions a little more precise, because that's what this farm is going to have. So yes, strawberries, absolutely. Yes.
And if I might add, I think what we want to do here is we really want to take a different approach on tackling food insecurity, which is why I advised working closely with the community, right? So we want to be doing surveys. We want to see what the people want us to grow, what they want to eat, what they want to have us delivered to them at the end of the next week or the next month or the next harvest cycle, right? So every single month there will be probably surveys going around asking the people what they want to see, what they want to eat. So it could possibly be changing every single month.
Thank you. And my final comment would be, if you're talking about the schools, I would suggest that you contact them as soon as possible, to get them informed rather than let rumors up and start. So in a small community, I think that's our first step to you.
Yep, totally. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys, and, like I said, we will look into it and somebody will back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Wayne.
Nice to meet you all.
Bye-bye.
Council, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
To, portion number 6. Steve, we have your, written report for the bill, but I guess the fire department opinion for me, is that correct?
Yeah, so I just wanted to sort of have a discussion or touch base with council, just in regards, you may have had these conversations in the past with my predecessor, I'm not sure, so I just wanted to touch base with you. Because there's a regulation that was passed by the Ontario government, Reg 343/22, which basically establishing mandatory certification requirements for firefighters under the Fire Protection and Prevention Act of 1997. This is geared basically for volunteer firefighters. So in this OREG, the expectation is by July 1st, 2026, all volunteers that are 36 months on the department are required to be fully certified, like a full-time firefighter would be. There's been different discussions through other municipalities. So again, just wanted to touch base with you guys to see where your standpoint is on this. We recently received a notification of a resolution that was passed in a Signac where they're supporting it, but they're requesting the government to extend the deadline to try to sort of come in line with what they're doing. For the most part, most municipalities, from what I've been hearing, either are against it or for it. It's like there's no middle ground. There's some municipalities that are dead against it and don't think the volunteers should be forced to train to the same levels. This municipality are in favor for, and they're basically sending it to the premier and across the board, stating that they're again for it, and they're looking to ensure that their department is adequately equipped, housed, and staffed with the volunteer firefighters, and who are properly trained to respond to emergencies within the boundaries of their, and they're willing, again, they're saying that they're gonna throw money towards it. This sort of reality for up here, as we all know, is a lot more difficult. It's a lot more money to properly train firefighters from our area. It either means that we have to try to bring somebody up to do it, or we have to send people down to colleges. The Office of the Fire Marshal doesn't have a college anymore, so we can't send it to the firefighters to the government college. So they expect the different municipalities and fire departments to utilize third-party training colleges to train everybody to that standard. There are some other options, which I'm trying to get the details specifically with my Office of Fire Marshal advisor on the details for it. Nothing, it sounds very promising for us, I hate to say. I'm trying to look at an option of doing in-house training with a proctored exam, and then they would come up to do the practical pieces to sign everybody off. And that's what I'm trying to push. At this point in time, I think it would be the most cost effective for the municipality. Because we have a high rate of turnover, that becomes one of the biggest challenges. We have people that are on the fire department for anywhere from 1 to, on average, 5 years. So to spend that much money to train and bring everybody to that standard, this regulation makes it very difficult and costly for our municipality. So in one of the first discussions I had with my field advisor from the OFM, I was looking for it, because the way it initially sounded is that everybody across the board, as of this state, had to be fully certified. That's not the case. Like, as I said, he advised me if I hire somebody now, even though that regulation is coming into effect July 1st, this upcoming July 1st, I have 3 years to get that person trained, which is good, which is promising. But like, I was trying to find out, okay, so as of this date, if I don't have somebody that's trained, because what they specify in their verbiage is that up to that point, anybody that's certified can bring, like an interior tech, for example, can bring somebody else that's not signed off as a second. So my question was, is that, because I have many firefighters that are certified and can do it. So as of this date, if I don't have somebody that's certified, they're over 3 years on the department. Why can I not take them in with somebody that's certified, but I can take somebody that's less than 3 years in to chat and to be with them and work with them? So I'm trying to get those details from them. So it's still a work in progress. There's some municipalities, especially the northwest of us in general, by the sounds of it, are completely saying, no, they're not gonna follow this, and they have no intentions to prepare together firefighters to that stage. And even some of them don't even do regular training in general. So it's across the board. That's not the way this fire department that anytime I've ever been on it, look at it. We believe that training is key for safety being our number one priority. We look after life first, property as a far second. So even when we're attacking a fire and say there's nobody in it, it's a vacant building, we'll do everything we can to save that building, but I'm not gonna put any of my firefighters at risk. I will pull them out and we'll do an exterior attack before I'm gonna put them into harm's way. So again, it's very difficult. We train weekly and we take our training seriously. So I'm just looking to see where your standpoint is on it. Because I haven't had any feedback on what that may be at this point in time. And you may not know what other municipalities you think, right, or how it's been going. You may be aware of the regulation and the date, but what's been going on in the background, you may not be aware.
All right, Councilor Tozer, any questions?
Sure, I've heard of this regulation previously, and so what exactly, like, so of our volunteer firefighter departments here, how many are certified?
At this point in time, I would say 6 or 7. Reason being, sorry, is that a lot of them are very, very new. Like they've just been brought on. Me coming on, when I came on, I had to reestablish that because I brought firefighters that weren't on the fire department anymore back onto the fire department for those safety reasons and training reasons. For all the very experienced firefighters that are currently.
Okay, so you have some very new people so those are the ones you're trying to get trained or how do you?
No, it'd be anybody that's 3 years or longer, as of this date. So I do have a handful, I would say it's probably around 6 firefighters that we're trying to get to that and work with the OFM to establish them being certified by July. It's very, because again, we've been doing a lot of the training. It's not like some other fire departments that I've heard of, they just don't train. They've done the training initially, but they don't continue to do the training. We're constantly training for 2 reasons. Well, sorry, 3. One, because practice, it becomes muscle memory, right? So the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the safer it's gonna be. And then the other end, we have such a high turnover that we have to continue to do this because we're training new people all the time. So yeah, that's a challenge at this point in time. So, again, that the 36-month period is actually, I was very relieved to hear that. It's just we're in a position. Not a lot was done previously, and I think that's why this municipality is requesting the extension with the government, because, and this is down south, and they have a lot more access, but it's hard to actually do that.
I guess maybe then, what exactly do you want from us?
I'm just looking to see what your standpoint is on it, because again, it's like, do you it's just for me, I'm not asking if you're looking to, support and send a letter or resolution off to the government. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Just for myself as leading, the fire department, I'm looking to find out what your standpoint is on it. Because again, some municipalities aren't in agreement with this regulation.
So my feeling is that if we can afford it and if we can manage the time and if we have people willing to take the training, train them. I want the best training available for our firefighters so they can keep themselves and other people safe. So whatever, I don't think you can overemphasize that. So I'm all for it if we can reasonably do it.
Yeah.
I think like the issue is like kind of, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Steve, but we've had chats about it, but because there was a lot of changeover in the fire department, and then that also created a lot of change in the firefighting team. We're a bit behind on the training.
Us specifically, yes, I would say we are a little bit. The training still happens, but to get to that point,
Yeah.
it's very intensive and it becomes more challenging again because of our turnover. We always fall back to specific stuff that we focus on locally, right? So there's certain stuff that we do. To get fully certified, you have to know everything across the board for every aspect, for a lot of stuff that we don't deal with here. So to train in-house for everything across the board just isn't feasible.
Like, for instance, firefighters in the south would attend car accidents, right? So they would do a lot of training on car accidents. Okay, what do you do when you get to a car accident, jaws of life, all that stuff, right? We don't really have highways or high-speed collisions, so it's a different sort of animal, right? So they don't do training for high-speed collisions. That doesn't really occur. They're, again, focusing more on residential and commercial firefighting, I would imagine.
We do single, obviously. We have the equipment for it and we do in that relation, we do auto extrication training. But again, it's more of a single or two vehicle, not a multi. like what most places down south would have to deal with, the possibility of. But yeah, there is a lot of aspects within what's expected to be fully certified versus, what we deal with here as a small municipality.
So Steve, I think Council Coach was trying to say, like, are you looking for council to ask for an extension or to support this other township and asking for?
I'm just looking to see what your standpoint is on it. Are you in agreement with this? Are you not in agreement with it? Because again, I understand the training piece. And like I said, training will always be a factor of what we do. But this regulation is a whole different animal for what we've typically done in the past. And it actually asks a lot more of what our volunteers are, because most people or down south will send people to a college, so they'll take time off and they'll have to travel, they'll have to go to the college and they get trained for multiple weeks.
So once again, I'm going
I'm not asking, I'm just looking for what.
If we identify just the skills, the skill set that's required for us here in Moosonee locally, and we say, okay, this is what we're gonna train for, this is what our guys need and want, they don't maybe need to learn how to do sky rises, whatever. Because we don't have those types of buildings at this point. Where would we be, in terms of, in terms of insurance liability? Would we be, if this is a regulation requirement, if we don't do it, are we gonna be
And that has been my exact questioning to the Office of Fire Marshal Advisor as well. They haven't been advised that as of yet. They don't even know, or he hasn't been advised, the field level has not been advised what the repercussions are for a municipality if they're not fully trained on July 1st.
And I think there's that discussion here with our previous fire department, I think town said we're going to get the people certified, as much as we can. If this regulation is going to go through, most likely.
Oh, I don't see it not going through.
And why are we, beating the bush, chasing that train? But we all, I think, I'd suggested to the previous mayor chief to bring somebody possibly in if we couldn't get all training ourselves, because apparently, I think if I remember right now, well, first you were here too, is our staff, volunteers, a lot of them didn't want to go out. So,
Yeah, that is the challenge. It definitely is a challenge, and also time off, because they'd have to leave work to be able to attend these classes and the training. It's just very challenging, because you have to use specific dates, because we have to bring somebody up to do the training. So we have to ensure that those that are attending have to be there. And this, again, for a volunteer department, they have to make things difficult in a lot of respects.
And it's a big financial commitment.
It is big financial commitment. And those are the pieces. It would be cheaper, in my opinion, to bring somebody up versus send individually move people out. Again, but it is a financial commitment that's not budgeted for currently. If that's what we're looking at, trying to, yes, we're going to move forward on this, then yes, there most likely will be a financial aspect to it.
I do believe again, Counselor, you were at the meeting too. I do believe we had said that and asked for somebody to get us the cost.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I've also been talking with Mike Delaney from his factory about trying to do a cost savings and working with them in doing the same thing. I have no numbers at this point in time, but I'll look at it.
Let me ask a question then. Will our fire department here be required to respond to any of the new site development? If there was, let's say, a fire over there? So have you reached out to maybe the Pomeroy or some individuals over there to see if they got like a cost sharing?
Not at this point in time.
It may be something
that.
it may be something to pursue.
Like I have had some discussions and there was talk about like possibly Pomerlo providing a longer, like a long ladder. What's the word for a fire engine with a very long ladder?
Oh, lecture.
That's technically a term.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's feasible for up here, to be honest, as much as in theory, I'd love to have one. Because of the width of them and for stability for the height, our ground is too soft. I don't think it would be safe.
But I even think maybe for training opportunities, share training or see if they could, like Northern College has that place out in South Porcupine there, they have the.
Yeah, and that's what they expect is like for us to send people there, which is very difficult. So again, I'm just looking to, one, have that discussion with myself, with council, just so I can understand where council is.
And then I guess too, the other issue this view is then like, yes, if you get people certified this time, but then we have to
Well, it's
continue to
continuous. It's
certify.
continuous.
So then we have to
That's
bring
what I mean.
up these trainers every, like probably year and a half.
Yep.
To like get other members certified.
Yeah.
So
It'd be different if we were a firm that kept members for 20 to 30 years, but we're not that.
I think the register requirement.
Yeah.
Counselor Ryder?
No, I don't have any questions other than, an agreement for safety of, our fire.
That will always be top priority, just to assure you, but yeah, it's, again, with this, it's. I hate to say, I don't see this changing how we will operate. It's just the certification fees that the government wants. It won't change anything in it, just so you're aware.
So again, the safety of the firefighters and, whatever training, again, it's feasible for us to be able to do that. I'm definitely in favor of that for sure.
Counselor Hunt?
Yeah, so I do recall in the conversations with the previous fire chief that he was supposed to like get us some numbers and we wanted them all to be certified. And I mean, in my personal opinion, even though we have turnover, and it's not, and it can be costly, I say that, but I don't really know, like what you're talking about costly, which would be good information. I think it's still important. It still has to be done. And unfortunately, Moosonee, we always have turnover. It's always going to be an issue. And I think that camaraderie that comes with that training, right? That piece, you might keep someone around a little bit longer if you're actually like a team and you work together and you trust each other. And I think that certification will.
Thank you. Yeah, running against Steve, there was quite a talk previous, things, and I think Tom would say we want to train. Don't want. That we don't need, the only the training that we need to apply for here. All right, and to meet the certification. We also would like to have a cost, and we realize the initial, we were discussing initial was going to be a lot more because you have more people to bring up to date. But after that, every year there should be in a budget for training for our criminal.
And some people don't know that for sure.
Thank you very much on that one. Okay, now the oil spill, any, I guess we got Steve's report, I don't need to have to go through the whole thing with Steve unless you want to, but
Yeah, I'm here for if you have any questions.
that's why I
about
was.
it.
Council Ryder, any question on,
No, it just sounds like there's, it's still ongoing. It will be for.
It'll be for a minute,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I see a temporary trailer or something set up there.
How long? Roughly 6 months, toss around. Yeah, so eventually, and this is gonna be more down the road, so the company that, they've subcontracted Roar, environmentalists, for the most part. There's been, they haven't fully identified yet, but because of the leak, it may have gotten into the weeping tiles and sump pump, of the building itself. So they, at some point in time, will need to get down there and drill underneath to see if there's been any contaminations from this underneath the building. So if that's the case, there's been a response around those to get fully demolished, so that they can do cleanup underneath. If they need to, that's worst case scenario, of course. So, yeah.
Our water plant guys though are continuing to sample as well, just looking out for any fuel in the water.
Yeah, on the London ditch.
on the talking about question? No. Council.
Love it. You know, it's a lot of detail and a lot of reading, but I appreciate all the good. It's terrible what happened, but I mean, I don't mean the report's good. I mean, the report is good. Sorry.
It's never the ideal time for
Right? I mean, it's.
staffing,
Yeah.
to try to deal with something like this, but we do what we can.
And then the long term was what I was gonna ask, how long does it take, but he's already shared.
One thing I have, questions came to me, and Jim is, this dude's our CEO. Is the trailer was out there. Why don't they come to council, he's about it?
It's federal property, so.
I don't know, we still run the airport. None of us knew anything about it, or we can't answer the public.
Yeah,
Anything like
so that would have been my error. So they're trying to get out of the building because of the fuel spill in the basement, so they wanted to use that as office space. So that they're not, they're minimizing being in the building if there is fuel in the basement.
All right, because it is that. Came to the CEO, but council be updated on things like that, and the public comes.
Yeah, I was on vacation at the
Yeah, I know,
time, so.
yeah, I have to direction for you, okay?
Yeah,
But if we could just have it in a memo or an email saying,
Yeah.
okay,
No, I could look at doing that in the future as well. So my apologies for.
we're aware of what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, that's all. I think everybody did a good job, it was really well, and so thank you very much.
And we're looking, just so you're also aware, we're looking at, because it is an air back in the situation, there was materials that was used, down property materials. So we are gonna be looking at minimal cost recovery for certain stuff that we will be looking at going back from them. Just so you're aware.
One other just information that I did relay. And I got the messages of Figure One has quite a bit of homes and they're taking out one time, I don't know if they still have. When I used to work there, we have a whole container full of booms absorbent,
Yeah, especially that time of night. Eric Quebec was trying to reach out. We had reached out to Brian Usel because of the trailers that they had at Laydown Yard. But there wasn't really anything in there to actually assess So just moving quickly, that's where the sand from the MOE representative said just use sand. If you have it, just use it. It'll hold it and stop it from traveling. So as much as yeah, I would prefer to use that sort of stuff. And so thank you for that advice. I wouldn't have thought of that, but they did reach out to a lot of people, but unfortunately it was 3:40 in the morning. It's a little bit more challenging.
Just information sharing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
All right, we will move on to community safety zone with Tara.
So there is a summary of the proposed amendments to the community safety zones bylaw. This conversation came about whenever, after the new park had been installed. So the space on Bay Road in front of the new park, we were looking at making it a community safety zone because it is directly on the road to keep people safe. And then the more I dug into it, the more that I saw that there are only a few community safety zones within the community, which are, I don't know if you have the existing bylaw.
It's in here,
Yeah, so the list of those roadways are on there, and then so the new sections, I went through and included all of the areas in front of schools, daycares, all the parks, and then, so like the community center, so Arena Road also. And though all of those fall under the Highway Traffic Act section of the community safety zones. So if you drive around and you notice that there's a community safety zone in front of like a park or anything, I was driving around and looking. If there's no bylaw to accompany those signs, they're not enforceable by police. So even the like reduced speed sign in front of the school, it's not technically covered under the bylaw, so there's not actually a different speed limit currently in that area for the municipality. So it's just the information to update the bylaw so that all of those spaces are enforceable.
I guess, at the next meeting, we will.
Yeah, if you guys are good with what she's proposing, then we'll have it drafted into a bylaw and we can bring it to the next council meeting.
Council Writer, any questions?
I was just wondering, where's Hunter Street? Where's Hunter Street?
So it is at the top of Macaulay Hill, at the intersection there is that the little road.
It goes over from.
It goes from the top of the hill to Ferguson. Yeah. It's just like a little small road. Like, you know, Macaulay's is like.
On the cemetery.
Right in front of Dexter's. Or they-
Yeah.
Okay.
They go down with it, so.
All right, Council Gordon.
I don't have any
So
questions.
everybody then, maybe move forward.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Nice donation, we have a request. And we will have a motion, so the motion on form of the discussion.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-219B, is resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves discounted rate for ice rentals for the Moosonee Express Happy Fleet that matches other youth happy organizations in Moosonee for the 2025 to 2026 season.
Gonna have a mover to the. Are you moving? Second. Susan, second, Susan Hunter, second. On wait, it's up for discussion. We've had these three options from suggested. Counselor Hunter and
No, I think it's a great idea. You want me to tell me what I want, what I'm preferring, or are you just asking if I have any questions or anything?
you're just matching the other team. That's in the.
Yeah,
Can, up for discussions.
no. I mean, it's pretty clear.
Counselor Tozen,
Option two, as recommended.
Counselor Ray,
I'd really like to be able to see the policy for donations. I don't know that I've seen it and just, I know it's not in here, but yeah, I'd like to kind of see it. It's just,
I think I have it sitting on my desk.
I'm just not understanding what gets donated, why we make the decisions that we make. And where some people pay, some people don't pay. Like, it's all, to me, it's confusing, and I just wanted to kind of see the policy so that I could, and maybe not right now, it could be, anyway, I just want to see the policy, because I know that, sometimes people come here and we donate it, and then other people come and we charge. And then sometimes people come and we give a discount. So it's just, to me, I don't know how we distinguish between
Right now,
different groups.
I would just suggest we, agree
Yeah.
with,
We can
the
send it.
policy. All right, again, I agree with this, so, no discussion being fair.
Yeah.
There's a reduced rate. Any further discussion? Now we'll vote on this, all in favor.
I'm just not voting because I'm not sure.
So you have to vote for or against, you can't just say.
I'll vote for them.
I vote for it. Okay. There's a motion to carry. Now, under the new municipal act, years ago we could abstain, now we cannot. I feel it's a negative vote.
Haven't followed this, but there is pretty good policy.
The request for closure of the office for a long time employees and the motion.
I think there's a few here, that's why I was.
It's a new one.
So there's another one there before all donation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept wrong and all. Okay, sorry, the MMH. MMHA. Let's try that again. Amazing.
Resolution 2025, number 2025 220, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves the donation of the community fall rental to support the Moosonee Minor Hockey Association annual prayer meeting on October 23rd from 6:30 p.m. until 8 p.m.
We have a mover, please. There's a seconder. Moved by Susan Hatcher. Second by Carmen Soldier. Right, it's up for discussion, and we will start with Council Rader.
I don't really have any discussions other than looking at policy and on better way, being more informed.
Okay, Councilor, Soldier.
Yeah, I approve the full donation as it's per our donation policy, which is,
Councilor Hunter.
So I agree with it. I mean, how often do they meet?
Just a one time.
Yeah, it's just that one, yeah. Okay.
More time for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I agree, it's only for an hour and a half, on time, and again, it's a fence, well, so. All right, if no further question, we'll vote on all in favor. Votes carried. All right, now we go back to the, request for the office closure for our longtime employee.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-221, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee approves the temporary closure of the main office in Marina from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on November 14, 2025 for the retirement celebration of a long-term employee.
Mover, please. Susan Hunter moves it, seconder, and then Ryder seconds it. Any discussion?
Everybody, yeah.
Not too many employees, yeah.
it's like 28 years.
22.
So no discussion, we'll all vote on all in favor. Vote carried.
Cake. Everybody can still vote.
Again, this is just for discussion, it's a code of conduct, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, the code of conduct, update draft, and we all have a copy of it, I think that's something that we really needed. I went through it, I thought it was excellent. Because
Yeah, just to let you guys know, this was something that came up when we had our training of the integrity commissioner. And so, I followed back up with him and asked him, because he said that they had codes of conduct, and so this was the one that he provided. He asked a few questions, maybe like three. But he gave his recommendations, and I said to just go with his recommendations, and then we could bring it to you guys, get feedback, and then we could bring it back to him if we want to tweak. So it's a document for you guys for the council, so I'm like open to taking anything back if you guys want to change it at all.
I went through it, I thought it was excellent, pretty well covered everything that we have been having to deal with. Counselor Tocha.
I can only get a gift under 500.
Multiple gifts.
So I think it's good that we have this in place.
Counselor Ryder.
No questions.
Okay. All right, so I guess, go ahead with that, for, motion to do that on the next.
Yep.
I know.
Procurement, all the people. Go ahead, please. No.
Yeah, it's another draft policy. I know we've talked about working on policies, so there's a draft policy package. This is a package that, we built, Boblin did a lot of work on it. It was reviewed by myself and Shelley with input from, both of us. We got a little bit of legal advice as well on it. We feel that this is it's a good policy that we're putting forward, but again, it's just draft and we're open to any feedback from council, and, we can make any adjustments before we bring it back as final.
I have a couple on this one.
Yep.
We used to have approved by CO with 10,000 in lunch. It's a cost 15,000.
Yes.
And, that's all pretty much relative to lower. To be more control. If you're for not, there's no point deficit. Or there was something changing, and those are my concern, but I'm open to what other councils like to.
I would just like to state on that one is that obviously the prices of things have increased substantially. So a lot of times it creates efficiency issues when we have to bring everything to you guys. I mean, for instance, the de-icer. You know, we have to bring the de-icer. Every time we buy de-icer, we have to bring it to council. It's already pre-budgeted for. It can be something that we use up very quickly. Like say we get an ice storm and we use up all our de-icer. Well, now we need to order it right away in case there's another ice storm. But now we can't because we have to bring it to council. I find that a lot of purchases are just over 10,000, which is why I suggested the 15,000. And it would just give us a bit more flexibility in responding, and ordering things and creating a bit more efficiency because the prices have increased. And it's, Shelley said that it's been at 10,000 for quite a long time. And again, this is changeable. So say if we did try 15,000 and you guys are feeling like maybe things are getting a little out of control, we can always revisit and change it back to 10,000 if you're uncomfortable with what's going on.
I've said my, what I do, and again, I kept on that. Make these. I do question them when they're over $10,000, you know, but I do honestly think 15,000 is, I don't feel comfortable with that, but be comfortable with that. Question.
I don't really see the issue with the 15,000, but then I don't have a lot of experience and, you know, what would you be, you know, getting every week for, do you know what I mean? Like for, in my inexperience, that might not be a smart thing, but I'm just saying, if we're monitoring it and.
Just a question, sorry.
Yep.
Previously, when you signed up to 10,000 on your own.
Yep.
Did that, I noticed on the next page, you're 6.5. Was that 10,000 before as well, or? was that
Oh,
out?
yeah, that one was missed. Sorry, it's, which one, sorry?
6.5. But under that clause there for regular expenses,
Oh, right there.
like de-icer, sand, fuel.
Oh.
You can authorize over 15.
Yeah, so actually I did change that one. 225 if it's already like, again, just specifically those items, like, for instance, our hydro bills are quite high. We actually don't bring those to council, but our current policy actually requires that we do.
So,
So this is kind of clarifying that
Okay.
piece. And same with water chemicals, like for instance, our water chemical bills are more than 10,000, but technically it's not captured in our current policy. But we more or less have gotten into a practice of signing up because it's something that we need every 3 months, you know what I'm saying?
I'll put this in as a transition.
Yeah,
Or ongoing things like sand, stuff like that, where it's going to be above 15,000 under 25.
yeah,
We have authorization, but if there's things that pop up that are, we keep it at 10, and that way sort of a transition.
yeah. As a counter, your offer, could it be 10,000 before taxes and shipping?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Don't you think, if they don't have to come every single time?
Counselor Wright,
I don't see where it is in here, but I remember reading it and one of the concerns that I had was that, where, I don't know if it was sole sourcing or what is a sourcing, but, yeah, I think we, like, again, through the procurement, we have to be careful not to assume we know what every company does and what products they have or services they do, because many of our companies, in town, they do have other, like joint ventures with other companies. And we don't always know what they do. And so, that would be one of my concerns. And I thought I read something about,
So
again, just calling around cold call or calling, companies. But if obviously you're gonna call who you think would have that service, but, really, there could be more. And I think that's
And sole sourcing is supposed to be like very rare. Would you really sole source something? Like that's supposed to be like, it's a very specialized thing, or you can't find another quote. You've called 7 places, no one else makes what you're trying to get. Or it's like a timeline or an emergency, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. Sole sourcing is supposed to be like a very uncommon event.
Yeah, it might not have been that one, but anyway, that was
Yeah.
one that kind of, I'll look for it again and bring it forward, but, yeah, that was one that was concerning to me is that, that we shouldn't be assuming we know what every company does in town, that, we do need to be, reaching out to all. We have to.
Yeah, and also too, like if you have a company in mind, like if they want to come to the town also and just let us know what they do, then we would obviously have that information as well. So, I would encourage anybody to come forward if they are offering a service and just to let us know so that we have that, information.
I know in the past, we had a list of, for example, equipment, which operators, the prices for equipment, whether it's greater,
Yes.
stuff like that. I know public works supervisors, had asked all companies to do it in town. For fairness to service, number one, and number two, we know that if they charge $65 an hour, everybody's like $65 an hour. Not that we want to hire them in merchant and end up paying $300 an hour. So I think that's another thing that we have to work on.
Yeah, like a vendor of record
Yeah.
system, yeah.
Or even if we, again, as a town, and we know that, we pay $100, then it's like, that's what we pay, and if there's vendors that want to, be on the list, and then you rotate them, rather than always using the same one all the time, right, without,
Yeah,
because that's what, we need to get away from that. So maybe it's the town that kind of, finds out what the average is and just says, this is what we pay.
yeah.
You want to be called on the list to call, and then you rotate people, take companies.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, but I can definitely look into it. And like what Lena's talking about is like a vendor of record system. So you would just basically put out and everyone would bring you their prices and then you would just call based on pricing. You go with the lowest bidder, obviously you go with the lowest price. Then if that person can't do it, you go to the next one and the next one until you find everything.
They also have to provide their credentials, insurances, all that too.
Yes, through the process. Yeah, Colliers was actually working on a vendor of record system. I'm gonna follow back up with them on it and see if I can get that reinitiated. And it was something that was talked about last year and it just didn't end up coming through.
Because in the past, we had that where somebody came here with 40, say, for example, $45 an hour, but they have no insurance.
Right. No license, yeah. Perfect.
Okay, anything else on that one? I think we're gonna move on from there. We will go to, again, Victoria's member short, the little report, it came on the 18th, actually for a written one,
Yeah,
and, members too have written report. Also, it'll be along the one next time. Yeah, we'd like to see,
yeah.
okay, so, very good.
So just quickly, just a few things going on. So the ice is set to go in this week. The tree lighting date was set, but, we realized there was a conflicting, event going on, so we're probably gonna change that date. So we'll just keep you posted on the date and time of the tree lighting. We're working on several briefing notes for the next meeting. As you can see, there's gonna be several bylaws coming along as well. We put a lot of drafts into this one. MMAH was supposed to come this month. They've now postponed. They haven't given me their postponed date, but I'm gonna follow up with them and try to get a date from them. The official plan draft is set to be formally reviewed in January. MHBC is planning a trip to come up. They're putting in a draft to the ministry in the next few weeks, for comments and review, and then they'll bring it to council for comment and review. And they're hoping to kind of get everything buttoned up by the summer for the official plan. We have a list of street lights that we've given to Hydro One, for repair, for replacement. We also have asked them to install a light at the dog pound facility and also the Bay Road Park. So we are asking for 2 light installations as well. That should be happening, I would say, in the next month or so. We have had the request in for several weeks. It's just working its way through the administration side. The Bay Road Park, was built by CRCS. The park is not currently completed. We did, bring gravel over. We spread gravel around the park. Unfortunately, the park has already suffered some severe vandalism. A piece was broken off in the middle, which destabilized the other section of the park, which again was being rocked on by kids or teenagers or possibly adults. But now it's quite rocky, like when you push it, it just like rocks back and forth. So we have actually taken snow fencing and put it around that area. We have contacted CRCS. She's gonna send us up some parts to hopefully stabilize the part that was broken. So the piece that was broken off is creating the destabilization in the other section of it. So we're gonna repair that section and hopefully that will stabilize the other section. She's setting us up some temporary parts to get us through the winter, but they're gonna come back in the spring and make sure that everything is properly done and they'll re-inspect it and certify it. We have also had somebody cut the swings with like shears. Shit. Somebody literally cut the park with shears. So it's extremely unfortunate. Obviously, we've spent a lot of money on this park and the park is very well used. It's very well loved, as well as that people are vandalizing it, but also there's a lot of kids playing on it. And it's obviously servicing a large portion of the community's children, which is great. But unfortunately, these are some of the things that we've already been dealing with. It's only been open for maybe not even 2 weeks. So we are ordering new swings. But I think if this continues, town council is going to have to consider how much money they want to invest into this park year after year, if this is going to be something that's going to be an ongoing problem. If you guys would like, we can make a social media post about the vandalism at the park. And just spreading awareness that if anyone sees anyone vandalizing the park, to please call the OPP or make a report to the town about it. Just to try to minimize some of that vandalism so that it's operable for the kids of the community. Like I said, we did spread gravel around the padding and we are going to be, I think we installed a bare garbage can. Did that happen yet? Or there was plans for it? Okay, we'll follow back up, but there was plans for a bare garbage can to be installed there. As well as we're gonna build like a little trail and then we're gonna have, some rocks, like some big boulders, kind of like bordering it. Towards the road, so that's a bit of an obstruction, so that kids don't just like run out onto the road. It also would provide kind of like seating without, and you can't really vandalize rocks. So that's the plus side to the rocks. So, we are getting, a lot of, we did get some donations from a few different, vendors in town, which was great. People came together to really help getting this thing put together, which we really appreciate. And, we did put out a post, thanking them. So anyways, so that's what's going on with the Bay Road Park. Like I said, too, we're putting a light there as well, which will help to illuminate the area and hopefully minimize the vandalism. We're working with Transport Canada on, the lighting project tendering process. They have a lot of rules around the tendering and we just want to make sure that we're doing everything correctly. So, the airport manager and myself had a meeting with TC. We've had a couple meetings with them about it and we are working on it. We're gonna hopefully bring something to you guys, in the next month or so. We're also working, on slotting at the airport. So I'm sure you guys may have heard that the airport is getting quite busy. There's a lot more air traffic, there's a lot more passengers. Obviously with the project going on, the skeds are booked and then there's additional charters on top of that. So, the airport manager and myself have met with several of our carriers and also with the charter flights to slot times so that not everyone's coming in at 12 to 2. Which seems to be like the hot time of the day at the airport and is very overwhelming. And this is why we are working on getting that addressed. So the charters are going to be slotted into a later time slot, so it shouldn't interfere with the skeds coming in midday. And we have worked with the other sked carriers to push a flight back a little bit. They said it'll take a little while for them to implement it, but once the slotting takes effect, we shouldn't have so many issues with overcrowding at the airport. The HVAC people came up, they're completing work on the dog facility. They're gonna be coming back up. They're gonna complete the work on the dog facility. They're also gonna be completing work at the bowling alley, getting that operational. The rec team has sent, custodial over there to get that space cleaned up, and ready so that people of the community can use the bowling alley again. So we're very excited about that. So that's also gonna be part of the recreational program for the community. And, we were able to get it done on a pretty cheap budget, which I'm also excited. Just to also let you know, the Bay Road project, there's gonna be a delegation by EXP and a report by EXP coming in the next council meeting on the 18th. They're gonna talk about the closing up of the project, any outstanding items, where things are at, and they'll be here to answer any of your questions.
Is that the Bay Road?
Yeah. And that's it.
No, and I do concur with going with the written report. My memory's getting, as you get older, and then starts to follow and that.
I
So
know, sorry, I just have like, half the time crunching sheets, so like half the time I'm just writing this like, what's going on? And I go flip my book and yeah. And I want to give you guys the most up-to-date report, that's the other thing. So some of the stuff doesn't actually happen until the next week and then I wouldn't have the opportunity to package, I guess.
And the reason I didn't ask Victoria, because it was brought up there before.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna go to, no business already for the minute. Petitions and correspondence, and this is with the motion, so please go ahead.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-222. Whereas the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee hereby supports the federal government and announced a Plan Canada Post Corporation review from October 1st to October 31st, October 1st to March 31st. 2026 as follows. Notionally, public association may be undertaken to consider the Canadian Postal Service Charter 2009 and to get a pulse on Canadian needs and use of the Postal Service. Should engagement be necessary, the goal will be obtained views from Canadians and stakeholders to already find the government service-oriented vision for Canada Post and its projects with the postal industry landscape has changed. The needs of Canadians have evolved and the volume of mail and letters has declined significantly. The point where Canada Post sustainability has been undermined. Whereas the current plan does not ensure that there will be any public consultation or engagement with all stakeholders in the process of in terms of reference for the mandate review have yet to be announced. Whereas the recent Industrial Inquiry Commission report recommended service cuts in the form of the post office closures and the community mailbox conversion that of the last federal conservative government. Whereas it will be crucial for the mandate review to hear the views from municipalities and PPUs, including maintaining Canada Post as public service, the importance of maintaining the moratorium on post office closure, including the Canadian Postal Service, home mail delivery, parcel delivery, keeping daily delivery, improving postal banking, greening Canada, post EV charging stations, food delivery, improving delivery to rural, remote, and indigenous communities, and developing service to assist people with disabilities and help older Canadians to remain in their homes for as long as possible. And at the same time, helping to ensure that the good job stays in their communities and the Canada Post can remain financially self-sustaining. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee formally writes the Minister of Government Transformation, Public Works, and Procurement Joel Laipa to demand that no mandate review takes place until Canada Post returns to stabilized operations, until the full impact of the stamp price increase is realized, and until parcel volumes reflect sectoral demand. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee will include in its letter to Minister Lightback that any review of Canada Post and Canadian Postal Service Charter must be done through a full and thorough, transparent public review of Canada Post, including full hearing with all key stakeholders in every region of Canada. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of Corporation of the Town of Moosonee will make a written submission and or participate in hearings to provide input in the upcoming mandate review of Canada. I didn't hear that.
We have to have a mover. Okay, I'm looking for it. The motion number was 25. So could I have a mover for this and we can. And second. Move by Susan Hunter. And so. All right, the government is looking at doing a bunch of changes in Canada Post process. And actually, I was talking to our ACP. And I'm wanting to make sure that we're involved in moving the want, especially our post office, we rely on North relied on them, so we have to be involved. It really affects us if they to cut that 15 months. So yeah, this is just saying things they have to have conversation with everybody because they do this in Toronto. Might not affect them as much, but here we affect us. So all right, any questions? All in favor? Opposed, carried. All right, so we're only down to motions, requests for proposal RFP for staff planning.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-223. Be resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Moosonee hereby authorizes the issuance of a request for proposal seeking qualified consultants to develop an economic and strategic plan for the town of Moosonee.
Have a mover for the separation. Secretary. Moved by Carmen Soldier, second by Superintendent. Up for discussion. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think you're all the copy.
Yeah, so just a reminder, this is the money that we got from FedNor. That's gonna be funding 90% of this, so, this is us putting this out, so if you guys are good with this, or if there's any changes or whatever, then we can make the changes, but, I'll have to send the proposal as well, or the request for proposal as well to FedNor for review, for posting. But yeah, if I want to get it posted as soon as possible, so that we can get started, in the new year.
You know, it's, the voter.
Not true.
Councilor Ray,
Uh,
Councilor Hunt.
No,
All right, we will vote on this, all in favor? We have another, motion here. E360 waste management.
Resolution 2025, number 2025-224, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of Town of Moosonee hereby approves entering into a contract agreement with E360 Waste Management Services for the dumping of roll-off bin from commercial garbage pickup at the Moosonee landfill effective October 1st, 2025 for a term of 3 years expiring on September 30th, 2028, subject to applicable leaving fees and conditions as set up in the agreement.
I have a miss. There's a music, I am checking the thing. I am checking. Then I didn't maybe.
Yep. Just to let you guys know, so this program did start, a few months ago. And it was kind of an email agreement that had been put into place between, the Public Works Department and the business, just to kind of get things started and see how it would go. The business is doing well, so we thought we should have something a little bit more formal in place. So this is the formalization of that sort of agreement that we had with them. And it's a 3-year contract, and again, there's exit clauses and kind of just outlines if there's a dispute and how to pay and whatnot, just to have something more formally in place in the town and E360.
no. I don't have any questions.
Councilor
So this company is picking up the commercial coverage, is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
In town?
They're doing, well, they have several customers right now. They haven't exclusively taken over commercial business. But we would like eventually to move in that direction of that they would take over the commercial business and that our public works department would move out of commercial garbage.
And so we still charge them all the shipping fees, whatever they dump out at the landfill?
Yes, that's what this is for, yeah. It has like the bin fees, so like
Yeah.
depending on the size of the bin, then they pay a certain amount of shipping fees. But this is a new thing to us, like it's not covered in our fees and service bylaw, which is why this is sort of a separate agreement to that.
Voted. Only question I have is, because we have to deal with commercial people. This is basically new to me. I've never, we have it in workers. Maybe we could have a little discussion or know what was going on. I'm not, I'm really clear. Well, I think I'll just, we can spend session for the council on today. I'm not against, I think it's great, but
So Trevor put this in place before.
Yeah, before he left, he had, and again, they were kind of just like, we want to start up and see how it goes, and then, so we kind of. I guess Trevor put this into place, and then this is, again, they want to make it, obviously, it's going well, so now they want to make it a more, permanent. Agreement with the town.
It's commercial properties and that, they can choose who they want. They don't have to have the town picking up their garbage.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and so this is just another option for them, that
Yeah.
somebody else can pick it up and that we're dealing with that company that's dumping.
Yeah, it's just a different sort of arrangement.
well, again. We're not picking up commercial garbage, our days. You know, I mean. It affects our whole operation too. I'm not against. I'm just saying we could have some discussion, before you go and put these. Somebody would approach me and said, well, I'm paying this company. And I don't know X number of dollars. I don't know anything about it, first I heard of it.
So I get what you're saying. You're saying that, if somebody came and asked me who's E360, I'd be like, what do you mean? I don't know, but I kind of knew, I've heard of it, but I don't, but if you're saying we should know what goes on in our town, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
trying
what
to
you're
say.
saying?
I just, we have a motion here.
Yeah.
Giving me things that first I heard of it, and I don't agree with that. So, gives it up for, it's not the company, just don't agree that the process it took.
And we haven't, just to be clear too, we haven't exited commercial garbage, like they've just started up, like we're still offering that service. We're not changing any of our services at this point.
What do we want? Are we going to keep one commercial? And another thing has to be discussed with this commercial stuff. There's some commercial stuff that can't go to landfill. Which one we got to?
Well, if we're encouraging, my brain goes to if we're encouraging our community members to be proactive, right? And do things for our community and like make, you know, their business, like entrepreneurship and stuff like that. I don't know if we want to get into the practice of everybody reporting to us. But at the same time, I get where you're coming from. You do kind of want to know.
Well, just because it's going to our
Yeah.
landfills.
Yeah, that
know
piece, I know that part.
Is being dumped or how, what the arrangement is or agreement of, you know, what materials can go to our landfill and what can't go into our
Yeah.
landfills, right?
I mean, we did have a meeting regarding that, like with the company when they first were starting up, and they actually did meet with us a bit in advance of starting up to see if they felt that the town would have interest. But,
So basically then, in terms of what's
yeah,
our dump and how things happen. So some of our commercial businesses are choosing to use this company.
Yeah.
We didn't have a structure in place for that company, for us to build that company for what they're dumping at that. Because they're using a different, whatever,
different
bin,
system, yeah,
different system.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that in our fee and service schedule.
yes.
So this is basically a temping fee and schedule. Now, I noticed this is with one contractor. What if two companies decide to do this? Would that still come under the same?
We could either do another one, or we could amend our fees and service bylaw to incorporate, bin, tipping fees.
Mhm.
But we also just wanted to, identify with this particular company because it is very closely linked with the landfill.
Hmm.
That there would also be, you know, these other pieces where, you know, it's a certain number of years that they have to abide by our dumping schedule, that there's a way to pay and everything else, because it is new. But I mean, if this becomes something that's more common and maybe in 3 years' time, we just incorporate to the fees and service bylaw. And then that way, any company would just abide by the same types of rules.
Okay, that clarifies some things, but
All in favor? Motion. No, opposed, just talking. Yeah, there's a mix. All right, next we move on to bylaws. We don't have any new business with none, so we go to council, the council writer has a list of items. I think a lot of it has been.
just before she begins, I'm declaring conflict on item 6. And I've signed my paperwork.
I'll just do that one at the end.
Okay.
So, just to update, several updates. So the town sign. Is there an update on?
Yes, we did find, the water tower, like the piece of water tower at Public Works. It was pretty buried underneath things, so I had advised Public Works to unbury it. I'll have to follow up on that. I haven't seen it yet. I think that they did get it out though. So I'll just check that out. But the idea would be that, like, if it's in decent shape, that we could sort of form that into a town sign, maybe do something along the border, just to make sure that it's blunted and not gonna cut anybody, and, I think we've come up with a design for it, but I mean, at this point, I mean, we kind of have till spring, but it's good to just keep it on mind and push it forward.
Yeah, again, I just, whenever we know what it's gonna be, or if we.
Yeah, we can bring the design.
Yeah, to bring it, again, to be able to get,
Yeah.
so. Opinion on it, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though it's the spring, time flies by, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like next thing you know, we're at Christmas and then we're.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's not really that far away. The other one, I think the grubbing material that is around town, is that being moved to?
That is actually part of the closing of the Bay Road project, part of that. And so they Wait, sorry, which ones are you talking about?
There's a pile over by the seniors, the old senior,
Oh,
whatever it is on
yes.
Nesca, and then there's a pile that's down over this way as
Yeah.
well, and I think.
We
there's
did
a-
apply for some funding to develop that space into a park, but unfortunately it got denied. So we've applied for that Henry Crescent Park twice now, and we've been denied twice. But our idea would be that we would use that to like fill in the space over there and create a park area. But we could, like the current, deposit site that Pomerol is using right now, we don't really have access to it too much at this point because they're using it very heavily. But come next year, we're gonna have access to our section a lot more, so we can move material over there if we wish. But right now, Pomerol is kind of saying like health and safety reasons, like they don't really want other trucks in there if they're there. I mean, I'm sure we could manage something if we said, okay, well, we're gonna do dumping on like said day. But yeah, probably this summer we'll be able to move stuff there if we want to, because the deposit site will be pretty much done with.
The grubbing material stuff too, did we ever do a bylaw that any contractor had to haul that mud down to that site? They can't just pile it downtown.
We haven't done anything as of yet. I don't, is there like a bylaw you have in mind?
I thought we were talking about that, in the town, so that if somebody gets a contract to do our roads,
Yes,
and dig it up, you don't just pile it on a empty lot.
yes,
Just we're gonna have to have a bylaw statement that you
deposit material would be
Yeah.
brought to our site.
should do it from that. That was part of the idea about having the,
Yeah.
some place where we don't have big plants all the time.
Yeah,
I'm so concerned about that, slumping over that, on Henry Crescent, on that bank. A lot of weight.
I think that's the most urgent one is over here by the.
yeah, the Henry Crescent.
Yeah, that's.
Right, because I was kind of starting to talk about the piles over at the Kwanzaa Hut.
Mhm.
That's part of the Bay Road project, and that is gonna be likely in spring.
And then updates on financial audit
Yeah,
for 2024.
sorry, I thought I wrote that in my thing. It's supposed to be at the next meeting next week.
So they're gonna do a presentation at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So after that is done, then we could kind of look, then be able to do the reports for the capital reserves and the
Yeah.
fund and what that looks like for us.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that part of the shelf ready? Or do we talked about shelf ready, having a small, medium, large,
Yeah, I mean,
ready projects?
we still are having, like, we'll have to build on that. Like, right now we have, I believe, Wobbin Road, we have the Henry Crescent Park. Oh, sorry, Red Lawn Road. And then there's also, we're working on our library proposal, as part of that. So, I mean, we'll just have to like continue to work on getting shelf-ready projects going, but, everyone's kind of got projects in their mind that maybe, and again, like, we're open to you guys, if you guys want us to work on something for a project. We also have, like an airport terminal one, that's like a really big project. And then we have a cultural center one, that's also a very large project, that's like sort of in partnership with Avenel. But again, that one's like not all the way done, so there's a few irons in the fire as far as it goes. To be honest, what we really should look at is trying to get some more small projects available, because there's a lot of funding opportunities available for like less than 50,000. Maybe our eyes are a bit too big sometimes on these projects, but yeah.
So maybe if we can get, a list going that we have that, even is, posted somewhere to be able to know what these projects are, because I know, again, talking to the public, like, a splash park, skateboard park.
Yeah, that's part of the Henry Crescent, and actually, Tara's not here, but she actually met with like a skate park guy last week, and she was really excited about it. Like, it's really like module, like they send up the pieces and then they just organize them and they're all made of metal, and You just need like a pad, either made of concrete or pavement, and then you can set up your own skate park. So she was pretty excited about that. So that could be a shelf-ready project that she's working on developing, as well. So,
Yeah, especially because I think like next year, Harmony will go here, Carmelo, and then we'll probably be doing a lot of cement stuff, right? So again, you know, because I don't know that we've ever really nailed down what Carmelo's doing for the town, right? They were supposed to, you know, so I don't think we really nailed that down. So I think that's something we have to be doing as well. And then the budget training, once we get the audit, is that the plan?
MSJH was supposed to do it, and like I said, they were supposed to month, but now they postponed, so. I have to get a new date from them. Maybe they're gonna come in December, which actually would line up pretty well, because if you guys get the audit stuff in November, then you'd be kind of ready to go for training in December and then make these decisions, so.
And then we talked about, and I'm not sure if we were going forward with it or not, with the more leasing property out at the airport. Because we had some people that were looking, I know Quebec was one.
Yeah, but then we decided that that lot, we had to keep it for the,
And I thought we were looking at some other
there's
sections.
the weather station property there.
No, I thought we were at something new though, weren't we?
On this side.
Yeah, it's something.
On the other side of the street.
Well, not working with the, like, again, the government services, they don't all that property, yeah, I,
Yes, I know.
But that's, yeah, that's the property we would like to get for us, so that we could do things with it.
Yeah.
Yes, I did talk to IO about it. Again, they said it would be like years to get it. Again, if we actually are in the midst of changing the lease with IO to allow for other uses other than airport. So actually, like, our lawyer and myself have met with IO and their lawyer, and we're actually making amendment changes to the airport lease to allow for other use with permission from IO. So we're working through that process right now, so that should give us a bit more flexibility down at the airport for development.
Like more property to
Yeah.
develop on. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that for other uses other than airport, because that was kind of the binding language, was that we couldn't do anything that wasn't related to airport.
I'm gonna jump on the tail end here to answer, but,
Yeah,
Cromlin that we're looking at, seeing if we can transfer over. Have you been able to come up with a map yet?
so I was actually working on it this week. I've decided that my best course of action, because I don't have a way of like making it online. So I spoke to MHBC because they have like, I don't know, cartographers, I guess. Anyway, so they sent me a map of Moosonee. I'm just gonna like marker onto
That
it.
works.
And then they're gonna put it into the computer and they're gonna draw all of it out. And then once I get that back, then I can send it to you guys.
Oh, perfect.
I'll go do the other ones and then I'll go back to one. So council, just discussion, so I had brought this up, probably, I'm not even sure when, but talking about changing our meeting procedures to include a public comment and question period at the end of our public meetings. And we said that think about it and that to bring it back, and so.
Because we're gonna look around at other, how do other municipalities handle?
I spoke to MMAH about it, and they said that a majority of municipalities do not allow it. But they said some do, but they said you have to have a lot of rules around it, or else it gets really out of control. So like, for instance, if you don't have, like, for instance, you might say, okay, we're only taking 3 comments or questions at the end of the meeting, and you only get 3 minutes each. And then council can respond, but they only get 2 minutes or something. So then it's only like, say, a 15-minute question period, but it's very like structured. And then if there's more people than that, then you just say, oh, sorry, unfortunately, it's like first come, first serve. Like if someone has a question and they come and they sign up, then they can sign up for one of the 3 spaces. But if the 3 spaces are gone, that's it, right? So she said that some councils have gone and they've left it just like open-ended, and you'll be there till the wee hours of the morning sometimes, because people might be fired up about something. You get 10 people in that all want to talk for half an hour, and then, you know, then we're all.
The other alternative maybe is, we have done this before, town hall meetings, right?
That's what we're talking about.
Where you just like set those, like say semi-annually or quarterly or something?
Yeah, just think of updates on what's happening in the town, because I know what the nuts and bolts stuff we do here at these meetings don't necessarily give the broader picture of what's going on. And those are easier to set up properly and manage.
And we had questions, 10 minutes for questions for the town and the town hall before. We also like to people that public know what we were doing about getting working on. When we usually with a newsletter as well, but we was contributing to the newsletter, so.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about it before, like at another municipality, and again, it was structured. And it was like 10 minutes at the end, 10-15 minutes, and it was, it had a lot of structure to it, so it wasn't, like, it could go on like all night. It was like 10 minutes at the end of the meeting, and it was, questions and comments with regards to what was discussed on the agenda itself. So not just anything coming, but items that were already in the agenda. It was just extra comments or they wanted to make a point. That's where I had heard it. So, yeah, and it seemed that municipality seemed to think it worked well. To
Do you
bring
think
more
it
people
would
on.
work well?
They said it worked
I
well.
said no. That's one thing that-
Do you think it would work well?
Oh, do I think it would work? Yeah, I think it would work well. I think people, coming and sitting in the meeting such as this and
Yeah.
being able to make comments at the end of it, I think is, again, for us to hear as council, but also to hear other people's opinions, right?
I would say the one drawback, and this was something that MMAH had mentioned to me too, is that sometimes you don't have the answer, and then that can be frustrating for people, or if staff aren't able to answer the question right away. Like for instance, if someone submits, say a letter in advance of the meeting, then we have time to address it, look into it, respond to it, versus kind of just being put on the spot and being like, oh, I'm not sure, you know what I mean? So there's also that could come up, which would be negative, but.
When I did speak to a couple of mayors, they said the same thing. You have the delegation. Somebody has a concern, you have delegations. This is going to be delegation and then a meeting. It's not fair to staff. What I think to me.
I think it's just a little more general and saying like, again, there's a delegation, but at the same time, that's like a long, long route. And by the time that you come back as a delegation on an item that might have been on the table tonight, like you're a month down the road and that's probably been voted on and long gone. Where like tonight, if there was something that was on that was coming back up in a bylaw that somebody made a comment to consider this or do whatever, right? You're just hearing it at the time that it's relevant. More so than, and again, it's like 2-3 minutes. It's not gonna be like.
And I want to clarify on the delegation. We had this with our training. As well, I did check with municipal affairs and housing. The delegation is supposed to be speaking on the item that's on the agenda for the meeting. Not what came up 3 months ago. If then the agenda is on the item, it's supposed to be spoke on that. They're not supposed to come in and say, I want to say something that happened, what happened 3 months ago.
Yeah, I like the idea of the town hall to share what's going on and have some questions at the end. I personally am lukewarm on the idea of sitting at the end, because to be honest, over the years, I've had some very angry people in here, and I don't get paid enough to get that.
Look,
Because people are angry sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, this is council writers.
something we can try and then change it if it doesn't work.
Next.
I mean,
Next time.
leave it till good for the next person. Because I kind of like the idea. I like that they're like very structured, right? But I can see it just, are you gonna be able to say, stop talking, we're done? And everyone's gonna, it's happened, yeah. The town hall idea, though, I do like the town hall idea, because that's when you have an opportunity, you put out thing, this is what we're gonna be doing, this is what we'll be talking about. Everybody gets an opportunity.
Yes, it's also a good news share too, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's good stuff that does happen.
We brought this up so many times.
And then we always end up the same place.
Yeah,
We're all
we brought this up so many
divided.
times. So tonight, majority ruled, what is the feeling from the council on this discussion? We should make a thing to keep wasting our time, yeah.
I'm gonna say, I'll rather do the town hall than the question period before the meeting.
I like the question here. I like the question and comment at the end of the public meeting.
I'm the one that's on the fence.
Should have spoken up quicker.
I think, when you, the concerns that I have will happen in both things, right? Like at the end of it, like a town hall, everybody can be up there and, you know, are you gonna be able to control the crowd? Like some people get really angry. And then you have to, you know,
It only happens once or twice a year.
Right, but then you don't have that at every meeting.
can we try it? And then.
I'll have to change.
Yes, we'll have to change.
I like the town hall, I like the town hall, and yes, into that one, but even that has to have the structure, right? Like it has to say you have this many, and how many times a year can we have a town hall? As many as.
We use that.
However many you want.
Right,
We
so
have four
that
times.
might solve the problem of like not doing it every single meeting.
Like you could do it like say quarterly, semi-annually or something.
Like then you get the best of both worlds, if you do them like more often. Are they a lot to arrange?
My only thought again is that, you know, when you
Gives you-
the public meeting, you're commenting on what's on the agenda at a town meeting. Again, the council or whatever operation is putting together the package that's going to be presented, right, at a town hall. Or again, there's a town hall, they can bring anything and ask you, like, is that the town hall? What, like,
Yeah.
you could run, I don't.
Yeah, that's,
You
yeah.
can make up,
How do you do that?
you can make up the rules the way you want them.
But the other thing is too,
You
is
can have a public comment section during
now
that.
that we're posting our agendas in advance of the meeting as well and our packages, if people have questions and they want to reach out to any of you guys prior to the meeting or they have a comment, you know, they can review it the weekend before and they can email you or they could email us or call us. So I mean, there's also that less formal, I guess, way of communicating to get our point across for the meeting now that we're posting our packages.
Yes.
With the elections coming up, everything else, within the next year. We could try the town hall. You want, I don't know, I prefer town hall rather than on this meeting, you know, it's. That's the council.
So you guys want to do a town hall then? How often?
I would say we'll do a town hall so we can all see how it works, because I don't really know, but I understand.
Yeah.
And then kind of from there, be able to make a decision.
You guys have like an idea on when you would like to have a town hall?
Even New Year.
Okay, so can you just like write up a motion that, do you want a motion? That what you'd like?
I don't have it. I don't know.
You don't need a motion? Okay, that's fine. We can just plan for a town hall in January maybe.
I think when we had it before, what we did, we went and said, well, Susan and Victoria went to talk with the ministers about transportation.
Yeah.
We're looking at creating a playground on Bay Road. We've applied for funding for gravel lift on it. We informed them of the positive stuff as well. And again, with any suggestion, questions.
Am I allowed to like suggest something or not allowed? No. No. Emails or questions. Mom.
Okay, so that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Town hall and for that, yeah.
Town hall. And so the other one, so the year to date, the question I had on it was, I just wanted to clarify that, the landfill revenue that's on here, is that all the grubbing that's going down?
Yeah, it's a deposit.
And so we're factoring it into our budgets right now, right?
Yeah,
As
but
spending?
We factored it into last year's budget and then because it was delayed, it didn't materialize. So part of what we're generating right now is actually allocated to last year. So not all of that revenue that we're generating right now is actually in this year. We actually have to adjust it to last year because we were in a deficit because we accounted for the revenue and we didn't actually generate it in that year.
So my concern again, yeah, so I guess it's in, like, my concern is that we're using, like, we're not setting it aside and we're using it as like to cover expenses. Operation expenses, and so, you know, when they're finished doing that next year, like, we're gonna get stuck. That's what I'm kind of saying.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's what I was talking about when I was talking about, like, for instance, increasing the taxes. Is that we were talking about revenue generation and how we were having these kind of little, money bombs coming in right now because of the project, but that money is eventually gonna stop.
yeah, well, I do it right now when I see it in here, I'm thinking like, we shouldn't even.
Part of that is last year. Part of that is last year. So not all of that money is just for this year. It's, again, we were in a deficit of a couple $100,000 last year because we had allocated the revenue generation in that year, but they didn't start till much later. So they weren't able to generate all that revenue in the right year. So that adjusted.
Yeah, again, I'm just saying, I'm concerned, it gets me concerned because we're using revenue that is not ongoing and we're using it to cover
Yeah.
expenses right now, which is, to me, is worrisome. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that that's what that is that I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's the tipping piece from the top.
Yeah. And then the last one is, you know, the bins, you know, those big plastic bins from the water plant,
Like the totes?
the totes.
Yeah.
I guess people, I'm just assuming this, but people are picking them up from there and using them for whatever they want, including putting oil in them and dumping them at our site. The other thing was, and I'm not sure who again in town or where it came from, but there is those totes that are full of, concrete, pieces of concrete sitting in our metal yard.
Okay.
That, again, like, you know, are people dumping, like, contractors? I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's coming from the contractors that were doing the stairs at the office building on Revlon.
Oh, yeah.
Because they busted up a whole bunch of cement there and they put them into these totes and they put them over into that metal yard. So again, you know, are they avoiding putting them where they're supposed to be? And are these totes too readily available? And I'm just wondering, you know, is there, I don't know, a way that we could be monitoring these totes and where they're going? Because, yeah, we're getting oil put in them, then they're getting deposited anywhere and everywhere. And now, yeah, these things are happening. So I just wanted to kind of
What's
bring
the
that
access
forward.
to the totes? Yeah, I could ask the water plant guys, cause it's the totes, the chemicals for the water plant come in them and that's, I mean, I know that a lot of people have asked to get them because they use them for, like, say, water for their camp and stuff, and I'm pretty sure we have given them to people in the past, but, yeah.
If there's a monitoring system to say, yeah, somebody's got a tote and this is what they said they're gonna
Yeah,
use
like
it
maybe we
for,
should
and it's
number
numbers or
something.
spray painted orange or something on it, just to identify it. I don't know, but anyway, I just think it's a concern.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll ask the water plant guys about it and then maybe they can just number them or something if they're gonna give them away and then we can have a record of who had what tote and then if a tote of oil shows up at our site, we know who's it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have gums, 45 gallon so
Well, we did order the cameras, just before the postal strike. So they haven't showed up yet. We're trying to track them down. We did order 6 that have like the 4G solar power, like whole 9 yards, and we are gonna put them up around our sites to be able to monitor. And they have night vision, they have zoom, they're very sophisticated cameras, so they weren't cheap. So anyways, I said if they're not turning up by next week, I'm gonna start making some more calls and figuring out where these things are, but yeah.
Before a public works manager left, who was in contact with the youth and environment, but anybody that's operating a garage of any kind are supposed to have a EA for disposal of oils. They don't, they should be fined under the Environmental Act. There's something to the oils that, and all of them should be, and it's up to Commission Environment and Foresight. if anything over a liter, question reported. But, again, Ministry of Environment has to do their job as well.
So my last question. That's done. One more. So just, I'm looking for an update on the water, the Waha or the hospital water and sewer project that.
Yeah, it's gonna be tonight.
What?
It's tonight, it's in, there's.
Oh, there's another part of it? Okay, okay,
It's close, yeah.
okay.
Bring Tom, come back and sit.
Hold on.
That's good.
All right, we will be going into closed session now.
Yo. Can we get back?
I'll work back.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
First, right?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, and then me. Okay.
The postman is Chinese.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Everything off.
not yet, because you're still going.
Oh, yeah.
Or did you guys go in?
Yeah, we got faster resolution for tonight. For resolutions 2025-225, be resolved that this meeting will be in camera at 8:12 p.m. For the purpose of discussing personal matters of identifiable individuals, including municipal employees, advice, and is subject to solicitor client privileges, including communications necessary for that purpose. Position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instructions to be applied to negotiations. Can I have a mover for this motion? Carmen, seconder, Susan. Moved by Carmen Tozer, second by Susan Hunter. All in favor of going to camera? Opposed, carried. Carried camera, thank you very much.
Okay, so.
Result of the team to camera at 10:16 p.m. Never mover, please. Carmen, seconder, Susan.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Any discussion? We're moving on to camera, not all in favor. Opposed, carried. Right, that's we have. Mr. Hunter? Chairman?
Closed session.
Wait.
Mhm.
All right, so,
Oh, 26.
27.
27.
Okay, resolution 2025-227. Be resolved, the corporation of town of Moosonee adopt the minutes of the closed session 11/20/25 and August the 12th, 2025, and the closed session number 12/25 of October the 7th, 2025, as presented, amended. Could I have a mover, please? Moving seconder. And any discussion on the minutes? Was that not presented? Okay, all in favor? Who's there? Then adjournment. 2025-228. Be resolved that this meeting adjourned at 10:17. Have a move. To the second, Diane. Any discussion?
Wait.
All in favor?
Sorry.
Carried.
We did nearly that. Right.
No, there's.
All right, everyone.
The long one. Oh, is your mom up?
Yeah. She got her. They have a good night. Good night. Okay, sorry.
She's outside, she's out in
I think.
No, they're back. They were back on Friday with quick turnaround. They put prisms on our glasses and it seems to make a difference. Oh, you need to be.